love talking about spirituality. If I can just, with being a spiritual person, my wife, who had introduced me to ISKCON, prior to we getting married, I went for a class, and there was a senior devotee, a white devotee from England, and they basically built a lot of temples and brought up ISKCON in South Africa, and they are still here in South Africa today. And so basically, I went. It was a Friday afternoon. I think we were partying with our colleagues and stuff like that. And she told me, "Come, let's go." I said, "No, it's not for me." And then when I went there, not that she forced me, I said, "Okay, if you want me to come, let me go see what's happening." And I'm from the time I was born. My family were Hindus. We followed the Hindu culture, and we did our regular prayer, and we believed in all the demigods. And when I went for the class, I heard him speak, and the one thing that really gave me the understanding is that the Bhagavad Gita
Welcome to another episode of Value Seller Talks, where we meet the visionaries who are transforming communities with innovation, integrity, impact, and a purpose. Our guest today is a very close friend of mine, and he is none other than a person who built himself. And his story, ideally, is not a unique one because we all are facing the same challenges. But the way he come out is something which is unique and which is extraordinary. Now, the name is the Roith Gareeb, and he is by professional, he is a technical expert coming from an IT background, and he's a spiritual person who are working, who is staying, who is living and born and brought in beautiful South Africa. His career span is more than 2.5 decades, and Rohit's journey is a diverse as it is impactful, beginning in the footwear industry, advancing into the geospatial technologies, and extending across sectors where the shape in both the private and the public areas in Africa. Rohit has contributed to a lot of sensitive and large-scale initiative projects in South Africa, and which is meant for the development of the communities as well as for that nation. Other than that, he is a devotee and a spiritual person, which enable him to balance both work and personal life, and is engaged with ISKCON. And there are so many activities which he is doing in his spare time, and that's where his journey has taken a different shape. Now, without going and talking more onto it, let's welcome Roith Gareeb on the Value Seller Talks. Welcome, Rohit.
Thank you, Deepak. Really appreciate it, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's my first talk, and I'm glad that you invited me, and it's a privilege. Thank you.
Same like, and thank you for taking the time. I understand that the timing, there's a huge difference in from India and the South Africa. Thanks for taking out the time, and I'm very glad, interested and excited to learn about your story because, as I mentioned, that your challenges are not unique. We all, facing the same challenges, but the way you have turned around and the way you have come back for the society, not as a person, but as a giver, is something which excited me a lot. So we'll want to hear from you in your words.
Okay. So, Deepak, I grew up I was born in South Africa, Durban, and I come from a very poor background. My mom was a single parent, and She worked. She worked very hard to get. She worked very hard in growing us up. She had no money, no house, no support whatsoever. She's uneducated, but with no education, she brought us up. We went from door to door, living, trying to get place to sleep in family's house. We struggled quite badly, and she is my role model. She is my hero, and she's everything. Sorry that I'm prolonging it, but I just want to mention her name is Sheila Gareeb. So in all those struggles, I went to 8 to 10 different schools. We lived different places. I lived in a village called Welbedat. It was a farm area, and we had a tin house, outside toilets. It was like really difficult. And we grew up with the government pension. At the age of 16, we then moved into another town called Phoenix. We basically got our first council house. We started, uh, developing from there. I have a sibling, which is my brother. He started working, and then a few years later, after school, I then started working, and then from there we grew up. And it was such a struggle. And how an individual single mother did all of this, I have no idea. But the grace of God, we always, appreciate that. And thereafter, I worked in a shoe factory for 8.5 years making shoes. It was tough. It was hard labor. And there I then got opportunity by one of my managers to go and study. And I studied computers for 3 years. And after the 8.5 years at the shoe factory, I got retrenched. And then I just got married. My wife, Renila Gareeb, who supported me throughout our difficulties. And thereafter, I had no job for about 7 months, just married. Then I started doing some door-to-door sales, didn't work out, and then I left that. And then 3 months after I was out of work, I then got a call from my wife's cousin who has an IT company, and it was called Data World. And that was my stepping stone. And then he called me. He said, "There's a 3 months course, 3 months contract. It's a data capturing." I said, "I will take anything." So from there, I went into that company, and it started off with 10 people, and I was one of them. And it basically came seeing what they do. It's not just data capturing. They used to do GIS, geographic information systems. They used to build systems. They used to do a lot of work for the municipality. And then from there, I grew and got more involved in the company. Then they kept me as a permanent staff. And then from data capturing, I seen what GIS was about. I seen what programming was about. I seen what IT was about. It really, got me interested, and I continued working day and night, putting late hours, making sure that I learn and grow myself. So from there, the company continued. It grew from a mini company or small company to a medium company to a large company. And then I moved up in ranking from data capturing to working with systems to working with GIS. And then I focused on data and GIS. And then the big projects that Data World worked with was during that time, we just evolved from apartheid. And, we went into when Nelson Mandela came into president, became the president. And there was a company that we worked with was called the Demarcation Board. And the Demarcation Board had to go in and give us a contract to basically realign the boundaries from apartheid to combining all the townships together and getting people living together and so forth. And it was very interesting. I remember late nights we used to work directly with the municipalities, with the mayor, and getting the data, printing the information, going to the airport, dropping it off, meeting. They had meetings with the politicians with the government, and we had such a success on that. And up till today, the data still stands, and I'm very proud of that. I worked with Stats SA, which is which is a government organization. I worked with the lots of every municipality in South Africa. And the key thing that I actually got involved was I became a GIS data analyst. So I used to analyze information. And the one thing that I really take from this is where we had the contract where we were aligning the municipal billing and the rates and taxes. And then I used to work with the GIS data, the billing data, and the survey data. I had a full team. We used to basically clean up the data. It was quite interesting. All of that really, um, you know, grew me, made me who I am, and the hard work that I've put in, that I got the result out today. And I worked with the analysis from America. He used to come and do so whenever we used to do the data, it then gets dissolved into a comma model, which then do a automation on the valuations. And I work closely with Dr. Ward, who was the analysis on giving out the correct information. And then from there, I moved from the sister company, which was evaluations, and then I got involved in the valuation part, which I just explained now. And then in 2014, the company, I was in Johannesburg at that time. Prior to that, I just want to say, in between there, I had some step backs where when I got married, my wife and we had a child, and her name was Rohini. She basically, had some complications, and she had special needs, and we had to take care of her, but she was a perfect, loving child. And she was born in 1998. And then, while working in Data World, they assisted me. We used to go to the doctors all the time, to take care of her. And she went to school. And in 2005, she passed away. And that was really the tough time that I had to go through working, and it was so difficult. And then prior to that, in 2000, my mom passed away as well. And those were challenges that I don't know how to deal, but because I had the spiritual background, which was my foundation, that I could manage, and read, understanding the Bhagavad Gita, which gave me the strength and the power to continue. And then in 2014, I basically got retrenched from evaluations, and then I had to come back to Durban, and I was scared, I was troubled, and it was difficult. So I then got a message from my ex-director. He told me, go to this company. There could be an opportunity. So I went to Link Africa, which is a fiber company, and they needed a data analysis to basically analyze the fiber and bring in customers and assist grow the company. So when I went for the interview, I actually got the job. I was quite happy. And from there, we basically then got growing into Link Africa. They had no IT support. I was the GIS data analyst, working with the team, understanding how fiber works, how the telecommunication works. It was very interesting. I got involved. I got supporting in the IT, hardware, software systems, data. And from there, time just flew. And I worked myself up through the different divisions. And then a colleague of mine was managing, then say about 4 years ago, colleague of mine who was managing the IT, and then he left. And then the opportunity was there. And then I applied for the IT manager. And today I am heading one of the largest fiber company in South Africa, where I oversee IT, software, hardware, systems. Um, or recently, I've also, when I started in Link Africa, there was no system. So I basically was keen in developing the company, and I brought in systems. I developed my own systems. There was one platform. It's a GIS platform where you needed to draw the network lines, the polygons, your connected sites, and the guys were doing it manually on the desktop. And I said, no, here's an idea. So I took an open source system and I put it onto the server, and I got the, the desktop platform, and I got installed it. I set up the data. The guys up till today, the guys are working on the GIS platform where they planning, drawing the network, creating the information, and I want to go further and improve that and put AI into that. And also, they had a production system where they used to work on an Excel spreadsheet. And I said, no, that won't work. Let's just do it in another way. We sat, we discussed it, we put the structure in. I created an Access database, and from there, the guys, I put it onto the server, because with the Excel spreadsheet, they were working from their desktops. And, to manage things like that, it's really difficult. So I then got Access. I created the structure. I put in all the requirements in there, built the coding, and then put it onto the server, and the guys were working. Then I noticed it's not the best system. And then eventually, about 2, 3 years ago, I was reporting to a new manager, and his name was Steve. And I told him, Steve, we need to take this Access and move it into a web platform. And then he says he's got someone who can assist us. I said, okay. So these guys were from India, and then I got in contact with them. I gave them all the structures, all the requirements. We basically put in a process document. We worked, we followed, the process on building a system. And then I gave them the requirements. I gave them the database. They were working on it, but they couldn't find they couldn't find the last mile. They couldn't complete it. So I told Steve on Friday, there is an issue. We passed our deadline. It's gone 6 months now. We really need to bring this online because we are going to be in trouble. And he said to me, okay, you go to India and assist the guys. Saturday, a Sunday morning, I left. I got all my flights and everything. I didn't know how to do it, but it happened. And Sunday morning, I flew. Monday, I was there. Went and met the guys in India, and basically, I looked at where the issues were, why they were battling, why the system wasn't going live. It took me 3 days. We worked day and night, and then it actually went live on the fourth day. And then from there, I left, and knowing that I'm in India, I went to Vrindavan. I visited the holy places, and then I got back to South Africa.
Now that's what I mentioned. Maybe the story is not, is a common, but the way you moved out, the way you have taken those steps, maybe that comes to you by the grace of God. But the important is, you are not the only one. It will be coming to multiple people. But
Yes,
someone
yes,
has taken a courage to take that and to take that extra leap and showcase that something is there. I would like to ask one important part here is, like you mentioned, the people who are, staying in that tent house and others, right? There are still the people over there, right? Are you in
Yeah,
contact with any one of them, or they are still living there, or they have also evolved?
so basically in those tin houses, or they call it shacks here in South Africa, the last time I went was about 3 or 4 years. They've basically renovated, and they put small houses in. But there's still farm areas in some of those places. It's called Welbedat in Chatsworth.
So the people, like maybe the people of your age, or the,
Mm,
maybe the friends at that time, right? Definitely, we are social animal. We communicate. We have a
Yes,
people, the friends of a similar age. Are they
yes, yes,
still, matlab, how's their life is? Are they also working somewhere, or they are just taken a,
yeah,
low to mid level job, something
yeah.
like?
So you see, opportunities in South Africa is very difficult, and what you make of it is how you develop yourself. And the question that you ask is how people evolve with my friends, with my community, and my surroundings. And some of them, yes, they worked hard and they managed to achieve what they've where they are in low in average jobs, and some of them I have progressed quite well. And like the in the shoe factory that I worked, some of the
Mm,
guys, like I said, they're doing okay, but majority of them are car guards. Some of them are really struggling. They're still working in factories, still working in garages, petrol stations. It's tough. In South Africa, it's very tough.
mm, mm. And I am a firm believer that they also get some opportunities, right? But how they
Correct.
behave, how they react towards it, how they embrace it, or and how many risks they want to take it, that all depend on person to person.
Very, very true. And you actually brought one thought into my mind now. It's that in South Africa, because sometimes poverty is quite high, people
Mm,
go into drugs, alcohol, and finding the comfort in those things. And it's sad, but even the kids in school these days are basically with pressure, they get involved, smoking, drinking, and their lives get destroyed. And it's sad. Over the time that I've worked, I've basically mentored a lot of youngsters. Some of them that I've mentored in the industry of IT are doing quite well. They're working for Vodacom. They've basically built their own companies, and it makes me proud that I had a little to do in motivating and mentoring these youngsters. And my goal is to basically mentor these youngsters, whoever need, whether they appreciate it or don't appreciate it. I don't think that's the key factor. The key factor is that putting your time and effort and giving somebody the opportunity to make sure that they feel needed, and they feel that they can achieve by us, the adults, or the senior people, giving them the opportunity. Information is for sharing. If you
mm.
hold back information, it's for me, it's the worst thing anybody can do. Whether you
True.
hold it,
Yeah.
yeah, whether you hold it back or don't hold it, the person will still achieve it. If you help them, it'll be quicker. If they achieve it, it'll take a little longer. So I really enjoy teaching people and helping.
So that attitude of giver, generally, I can say that come from that tough time which you have seen, right? That tent houses.
Hmm.
I think that
Hmm.
memory is still in your minds, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's a unforgettable thing, and actually that's
Hmm.
where you transform from a professional into a spiritual part.
Yes, yes, yes. I love talking about spirituality. If I can just, with being a spiritual person, my wife, who had introduced me to ISKCON, prior to we getting married, I went for a class, and there was a senior devotee, a white devotee
Mm,
from England, and they basically built a lot of temples and brought up ISKCON in South Africa, and they are still here in South Africa today. And so basically, I went. I it was a Friday afternoon. I think we were partying with our colleagues and stuff like that. And she told me, "Come, let's go." I said, "No, it's not for me." And then
mm,
when I went there, not that she forced me, I said, "Okay, if you want me to come, let me go see what's happening." And I mean, I'm from original from the time I was born. My family were Hindus. We
Mm,
followed the the Hindu culture,
mm,
and we did our regular prayer, and we believed in all the demigods. And when I went for the class, I heard him speak, and the one thing that really gave me the understanding is that the Bhagavad Gita is one of the books that many people don't think it's important, but it is. It's our basically our manual for living in this material world. And the
mm,
important thing that it teaches you is that you're not the body, you're the spirit soul. No matter how much you basically put in this material world or you basically put into people, they will appreciate it for a short while. And material means limited.
yeah,
And in the Bhagavad Gita, it tells you that we are limited in this material world. We have a short span. We come, we go. It's just like a holiday. No matter how much you believe that this is mine, you own nothing. When you leave your body, you take nothing. So the important thing is to understand, yes, we want to grow a career. Yes, we want to be achievers, we want to earn good money, but all of that eventually will disappear. Like the weather, like, it comes and goes, season
yeah,
comes and goes. So in the Bhagavad Gita, I realized that no matter how much I can push myself, how hard I can push myself, all my dreams can be achieved. But being, surrendering to Krishna, to Lord Krishna, changed my life completely. The day I did that, it basically helped me to understand, not give me material gains. Yes, I do have material gains, but I know the material gains are not going to be there forever. But making sure that I understand who I am, what's my purpose, and what is my end goal. And being in the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, it teaches me, it basically gives me the understanding when I lost my daughter, when I lost my mom, when I lost my job. These are these are material stuff. It will happen. You will
mm,
get a good job today. You'll lose the job. You will gain again. It depends how you manage yourself. It's basically, it's all in the creator. He can give and he can take. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, give up all your material, or not give up, but understand that I am the creator and you are my child. I you In this material world, there's the process that happens in the material world is you are born, you grow up as a youth, you grow up as an adult, you become old, and then you leave your body,
mm,
and that is the cycle of birth and death. You cannot change that. You cannot get a scientist to make that different. It is the law of nature.
mm.
And karma is every action, there's a reaction. So Krishna says, surrender, dear soul, surrender unto me, and I will take you back to uh, Gokul Vrindavan. And that is the spiritual world. Our purpose is to in is to become spiritual again. We were spiritual because we were wanting to have independence. We came into this material world and we got our independence. And now we can see how things are. You know, we think this is heaven. This is not heaven. This can be hell because of the miseries and the struggles we go through. But if we surrender to Krishna and give ourselves in serving him, you can basically go back to him because he is the ultimate creator. He has all the power, all the riches, all the beauty, and no matter what anyone in this material world try to compare themselves to, he has everything.
Rohit, I appreciate that part honestly because we all are aware about all these points, right? But the way
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
explain it, the way I can relate what you are saying on each and every word. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the feeling which has come from you and the connection you have
Mm-hmm.
already made. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
for bringing all these points. Now, in our community, like we have 50,000 global professionals, and all are racing towards to achieve something. Someone is racing towards promotion. Someone is racing for the salary hike. Someone is racing to save their job, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
EMI paychecks. We know all about the materialistic which you mentioned. Now, but you explain it very beautifully that there's a balance should be made. There should be a
Correct.
there should be a thin line between what you are doing and what you have to do, which you are
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
completely ignoring.
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
I really appreciate, but I want to ask one question here.
yes.
uh, that once at the time when your wife mentioned to you have to go to ISKCON, right? That moment
Mm-hmm.
you were not mentally prepared for. Maybe at that time this connection was not there because you were busy. Because at what I can relate, that you come from a difficult background, you had a
Yes.
lot many things in place. So your
Mm-hmm.
aim was, your milestone was to achieve maybe a good hike, money.
Yes.
Because for you the money you
Mm-hmm.
have not seen, so you want to have
Yeah.
money. And then
Yes,
when you
yes, yes.
go for money, spirituality comes
Mm-hmm.
later, or maybe it doesn't
Yes, yes,
come
yes,
anywhere.
yes.
So
Yes, yes, yes.
there are so many professionals like this who are still there. How you will, now I give you a chance, how you motivate them that they should go and visit their religious place, and they
Mm-hmm.
follow
Mm-hmm.
some spirituality part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'd like to give you an understanding is that as I was growing up, and I will answer your question,
Mm,
Deepak. I used to go to church. We used to go to Sunday school, and I always thought, Christianity, there's churches, there's Sunday schools, there's Bible studies. In Islamic, there is the Quran, there is, prayers 4 times a day, 3 times a day. And, there's always activities. For me, it's like there's so many different demigods. How and who is God? I couldn't
mm,
understand that.
mm,
And I saw the Bhagavad Gita, and we used to have a altar with the, we have a Lakshmi diya, and we used to just light the lamp, pray, and leave our Bhagavad Gita there. And that's because that's the tradition we followed. And if you want, so and then when I got in contact with the first classes about ISKCON, and now and again as a little boy we used to see the Hare Krishna singing and dancing, and I say, oh, that's not for me. It's too spiritual, it's too much. I can't give up meat, I can't give up all my
luxury.
sense gratifications and things like that. And so when I got to the class, I said, wow, this is what the Bhagavad Gita is all about. It teaches us there is an individual, which is in this material world, and there's a creator who controls everything from the hierarchy. If you compare yourself, like in a business, you have your junior workers, senior workers, supervisors, managers, and then you have your board, and then you have your, the main owner. And if you look at that hierarchy of how Vishnu or Krishna stems down to Brahman and all the other demigods. They are there. Indra takes care of the rain. All the other demigods take care of everything, and that is how the universe is basically created. We think there is just a few hundreds universe. No, there is billions and billions and billions of universes.
Yeah.
We cannot understand all of that. So to basically look at or explain, that you can achieve everything that you want, and you can basically say, my goal is to have all the money, have all, give my kids everything, give my wife everything. But sometimes when you do that, you spoil them. You don't teach them how one should come up in a hard, tough, you're giving your kids 2-year-old cell phones. Yes,
Mm,
technology is good, but it doesn't help them. To show them the way of how you grow up, or how you seen life. Because if you give everybody everything, it's easy for me to say, yes, my father gives me this, I don't need to worry about anything, so
mm,
forth. But coming back to what you said, is that if you don't have the balance in your life, you can have it today. And there's lots of business people who had the billions and millions of dollars and rands and rupees. But one day it all goes away because you thought, the more I give, the more I'm gonna get. It doesn't work. The more you put into your business, the more time you put into working, when you retrenched as I was, when your time is up to retire, which is coming up for me, and when there's time, no one's there for you. Who's going to help you? And the only one person's going to help you is Krishna, is Vishnu, is your spiritual the side of it. Whether you pray to Jesus, whether you pray to Allah, whether you pray to Krishna, Vishnu, the spiritual balance is so important because we are basically flesh and bones. The spiritual being that's within our heart is basically keeping us alive. Because when you die, you basically say, look at the body. So why can't you say that is, hey, look at Rohit, what happened to him? No, you say, look at his body. So it's very important to distinguish between spirituality and material. You've got to balance yourself. And I saw a clip the other day. It says, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, which is the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It basically gives you peace of mind. It's like, it is yoga, not the yoga that you go on a mat and stuff like that. It gives you peace, it calms you down, it gives you connectivity with the supreme, and it makes you, they give you that spiritual upliftment. No matter how you look at it, you can go reaching the skies, but if you do not bring the spiritual side into your life, you'll lost the battle.
Very important, Mehta. And the mantra which you mentioned, the chatting, it works because I also experienced it. I mentioned you also in my early days. There was a lot of pressure. I was the only one who has to complete some sort of a telecom rollout stuff, and I have to work 24 hours, on the streets. That's the job of a telecom engineer. And I was in Mathura area where the first
Yes,
thing
yes, yes.
started, and then with all where the when the whole world is against you, especially where
Yes.
you get of this pressure, timelines, closures. At that time the layoff was not so common because it was the India was booming at that time. So if you are engineer, you will be hired, right? I'm
Yes,
not
yes,
going
yes, yes,
for the
yes.
salary, but you will be hired, right? So, but yes, that time it was a different connection. That was a different feeling. That was something which actually give that peace of mind, and you need that peace of mind because at the end of the day that will regain your energy and boost you again to go to that the same thing. I have a very important question here is now
Yes.
you simply explain retrenchment layoff, right? But the when the fun someone is laid off, right? Now today, if you talk about the use of AI automation, we have seen the huge numbers are coming from the big corporates, and they are saying that they are removing this team force workforce. Now the person who is actually looking for a job, right, and because his paycheck has been stopped, now that guy who has never did anything in his life, not a business, not any spirituality thing, then what will be your message to them? How they can regain their energy? And I'm not sure whether there's a magic. If they go into this part, then they may get some offer, and their wait cycle may get shorter. I'm not sure, but just want to listen from you.
There's two items that I want to speak about is failure and disappointment. Right. Failure, it's not just a something that, oh, I've tried it and I can't do it anymore. It is. You have to master the art of failure. If you experience failure, and just say if I want to study to become an engineer, you have to you have to study it, you have to do the practicals, you have to basically know the ins and outs of it. Similarly, when it comes to failure, you have to experience it, you have to understand it, and you have to work your way. People go through disappointments, people go through hardships, they just say, you know what, I give up and that's it. I can't do this anymore. And that is one thing that one shouldn't do, because it's we have the individuality and we have the answers for everything. If you want to if you want to go forward, you can go forward. If you want to go backwards, you go backwards. If you want to do drugs, you can do drugs. If you want to be rich, be rich. If you want to be spiritual, you can be. So the art of failure is understanding how can I master it, and when it comes, I will be able to conquer it. And that is the one thing that I have experienced. Secondly, disappointment is, making all these dreams in your head when you come out of school. I'm going to earn so many thousand rupees. I'm going to buy the best car. This is what I hear from youngsters. And having that dream and having that, you know, ideas is brilliant, but it doesn't come easy. Everything is hard work and determination. So coming back to your question is that you have the decisions to make, you have the way to go forward. And if you're down and out, if you don't have anything, it's you and the super soul within you. You talk to yourself, you guide yourself, you motivate yourself, you build yourself up. You never say die. Never say die. You basically, I've been through everything. I know what it's like. I've been, physically abused as a kid, having nobody. But I realized if I take the step forward, and even today, at work, people always put me down. Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Just 2 weeks ago, I got an award from the company for managing the department and having few staff implementation of software, and running a world oil. So I take care of 350 staff for 2 companies, and I've only got 5 staff.
Impressive.
And it's not because somebody likes me, it's because I do not say die. Whether you retrenched, whether you feel depressed, whether you feel that you're trying and nothing is happening. I mean, I listen to a motivation speaker says, never give up, never give up. And remember, in our management training and courses that we have regularly in the company, they speak about South Africa, how the Springboks, our rugby team, how well they are, how good they are. I say that's good. I mean, how they move themselves forward. But I cannot compare myself to them, because me as an individual, I need to basically take my challenges and use my challenges of how I struggled and where I am and how I got to the point where I am today to basically say, I have achieved. You're on mute.
No, I'm listening to you, sir.
Yeah. So how I took my challenges of my hardship and made it a positive today. And every individual out there that's struggling, I know a lot of people, but even, when I was down and out, I never said no. We open up a shop at home. We sell bread, milk. I never said stop. I worked in a 7-year-old boy worked in a big market in Durban. I earned 2 rand a day. I started my first job prior to the shoe factory, in making bin plastics. I was earning 80 rand a week. In the shoe company, I earned 150 rand a week. If you calculate that, that's pocket change. Pocket change. And and then when I was retrenched, I did a door-to-door selling debonaires and steers, pizzas and burgers, coupons. and I was the best sale. I was always the leading salesperson because I knew that everything that you do, you make sure you do it to your best, whether it's your job, whether it's your family, whether it's leisure, whether it's spirituality. But spirituality got me where I am.
Hmm.
And it is something that you got to thank God. Everything that you don't have, you don't need a lot. You just need your family, you need your spiritual side, you need God, and be thankful and grateful for everything that you have. Because without him, without God, you wouldn't be here and you cannot breathe anymore. So make sure every morning, every afternoon, you thank him for the family you have, the food that you have, the shelter that you have, the basics, not the X3s. I got X3, so it 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 came with hard work. So all of those things can come today and go tomorrow. So just be thankful and grateful.
Hmm. You remind me few things. Uh,
Mm.
Now this is the end of quarter, right? And
Yeah.
people are generally focused on the numbers and everything. I was talking with I got a call from one of the sales leader from one of the
Mm-hmm.
company.
Yeah.
I create a lot of videos, contents on the sales.
Correct.
And he was
Yeah.
asking, "Ki Deepak," and very genuine question. Deepak, I'm not able to maintain the number. What should I do? Obviously, he has some own challenges. Let's not go into that. But in the last, I said, okay, what's new? So I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
told you everything, all about my pain, and you're saying, what's new? What do you mean by what's
Mm-hmm.
new? What's new in your
Mm-hmm.
life? So nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But you have
Mm-hmm.
one thing in your life which you're forgetting. He said, what? I said, you are breathing.
Yeah.
So you
Mm-hmm.
cannot repeat the same breath, right? So this is what
Mm-hmm.
you are doing. So if you are having a
Mm-hmm.
new breath, let's say if you are not able to get the number, what will be the worst case scenario? You will be thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's prepare for that as well.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah. Yeah.
focus on that. And then,
Yeah.
talk about make your steps. It doesn't mean that
Mm-hmm.
people are waiting for you or, I totally agree with you. It's very
Mm-hmm.
hard that, you are performing and no one is clapping for you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the coincidence, the incidents which have happened with a lot of the people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
never stop
Mm-hmm.
performing, right? That's the right
Mm-hmm.
message from your side. Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
thanks, Rohit, for that.
Yeah, there's just one more thing that I wanted to mention. I know, work hard, play hard, and then also the other thing is that youngsters come into their career, and they expect to grow quicker. It's
Hmm.
it's it's not possible, but sometimes it's impossible because you have to start from the bottom, and you have, as a youngster, as straight out of college, straight out of school, you basically need the experience to grow. And it's very important to understand that you don't play hard now. You don't go party. You don't go enjoy yourself now. You grow yourself now. You build yourself. All the tools that you have in your working environment that surrounds you. Or these days you have YouTube, you have medias, you have you know i've I've taught myself so much in YouTube that you don't really sometimes need people if people are not helping you, you go and do it yourself. Build yourself as a youngster, work hard, put the time now. In 5 to 10 years time, you will then reap the benefit, and when you reap the benefit, you will own the house that you want, you will own the car that you want, and you will get the benefits. But remember, as I mentioned, having all of those things is not the key driver in life, right? I've basically, after working, I've achieved a lot in my life. Beside being where I am in my work career, I ran the Comrades Marathon twice. It's a 90-kilometer race in South Africa. It's one of the big ultra marathon in South Africa. So I
Wow.
ran it twice and I completed it. And it's one of the challenging. It's from Pietermaritzburg to Durban, and I've done from Pietermaritzburg to Durban and Durban to Pietermaritzburg. I wanted to travel. I've traveled to India. You could practically say every year I'm in India. I'm in India in February again, February and March. You know, I mainly visit the holy places. I don't like the cities. It's beautiful. From the first time I went into India was in 2000, and compared it to now, it's a the cities are beautiful. I'm amazed. You know, it's beautiful. I've traveled to the US. I went to the places that I wanted to, and I went to many places in Africa. So my one entertainment or enjoyment is traveling. I love traveling.
Yeah. And the places which you mentioned, the countries you mentioned, and it's not an easy thing. It's a 15, 17 hours flight, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. You know
so,
that. You travel a lot. You
yeah.
should know that. Yeah.
At one
Mm,
time, every month I was in South Africa. So yeah, I understand.
yeah.
So and
Yeah.
then you make a lot of friends with the the air crews. They resemble
Mm-hmm.
your face. So yeah.
Yeah. Deepak, there's just one more thing I want to mention is that, I've spoken about, how I struggled, how I achieved what I want to achieve, and the spiritual side. The one important thing that I did not mention is my partner, my wife. She was a keystone in my achievement. She's Her name is Renila Garib. She's a property valuer. She works for a company in Durban, and she's a strong-headed woman. Nothing material will set her off. I can give her the best thing, buy a 50,000 rand jewelry. She'll tell me, please go and return it. It means nothing to me. But her support, her being grounded, being spiritual, being a mother, being a wife. We disregard women sometimes, but they are the foundations in our lives. And achieving what I achieved wasn't for her. I don't think I'll be where I am. Yes, we work hard, we achieve everything, but we forget about what are their struggles, what are their needs. There are people there who, as women, sometimes disregard men, but it's fine. But there are certain women who are standing by you side by side. I never had, beside my mom, I never had anyone like my wife who would stand next to me, who would give me the support, who would guide me and keep me on the right road. And, I thank her from the bottom of my heart. I really
Yeah.
appreciate her.
Definitely, because the time which you have seen and you
Mm.
have someone to lean on, and definitely she is the backbone for you and that platform
Mhm.
where you're standing. By the way,
Mm.
where you met?
So we we met in Durban, and she was working in a shop, and I was studying IT that time. I was doing another course that I was quite keen on, and her friend was working in there. So I went to give her some notes, and then she saw me, and then she got my number, and she phoned me, and then it took off like that.
Uh,
So she's basically, when you have nothing, nobody wants you. I had nothing, and she still, became my friend, and we basically went through hardships together. Every marriage you go through, you have your ups and downs, but no matter what, she stuck by me, uh, hard, the good times and bad times.
and
And
I understand what
I
from.
never met anyone who's not materialistic, right? She's basically simple, hardworking. She cooks very nice food like biryani, butter paneer, rotis. Oh, she's a very she bakes often. So yeah,
Hmm.
she's a wonderful person and a wonderful wife.
Lovely, lovely. So it's a love at first sight, and
Yeah, yeah.
obviously love initiated by her, not from you.
Oh, yeah. It was, yeah, yeah.
No, that's a lovely. But yeah, important here is to carry on this relationship for forever, right? And
Mm-hmm.
rightly mentioned, some tragedies which happen which cannot be unchanged. But yes, you
Yes,
need
yes,
a
yes.
very supportive partner, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I call it. In the universe will give you, what you need the most, right? And
Yes, yes, yes.
everything you cannot have a tangible, like what you say, materialistic. You need
Mm-hmm.
a support, emotions to move forward, and
Yes, yes, yes.
you have that in form of your lovely wife. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I love your statement which you mentioned that getting the mastery of failure, right?
Yes.
Now, I want to relate it with the Gen Z, or the, let's say in a very simple word, the entrepreneur world or the startup world, which is
Mm.
mostly coming, or where the founders are the people who are not in very much experience, right? They are
Mm-hmm.
passing from college, they started something,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But how you see these people, these generation, because they have
Mm-hmm.
not seen the world, they have not gone through
Mm-hmm.
that part, because they're born in that era where the mobile phone is a necessity, you know so how they are taking this one the how they, first of all, their determination is more high,
Yeah,
their
yeah.
expectations are more, and
Mm-hmm.
they are
Mm-hmm.
not reaching to that level in a very short span of time, so they are
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
ready for the failure. So what message you want to give it to them?
So, with regards to that, as you mentioned, I did meet a Gen Z, and I told him, you know what, I can give you some experience, but there's no pay. As soon as he says no pay, he says no. So the one thing that you have to do as a Gen Z, and how to handle failure, you have to make sure you got to be um uh, simple. You have to be grounded. You have to make sure that nothing comes for free. People that gives you the knowledge has worked for years to get it. If you
Mm,
think by a click of a finger I will learn everything, I've trained people and youngsters, they thought they knew everything, but then they meet their failure and they come back and say, you know what, please help me. And I will never say no. I will say, sure, why not? Understand that you are still in the growing phase. Understand that you are still in the immaturity phase. You have to understand that you, although I or yourself will say, you know what, I know my business in and out. No, you don't know your business in and out. And as I mentioned, the hierarchy of when you grow, you come into the learning phase. When you come into the Gen Z, you're in the learning phase. Open your arms and take as much information as you can from anybody and everybody with the positive, and make sure that it will grow you. You know, trying to reach the ladder sooner than you can, it it may work, but 99% of the time it will not work. I see people thinking, investing, putting their hard-earned money, but generally nothing comes in easy. You work hard, you play hard. That's a simple rule. Nothing. It's basically, for every action there's a reaction. It's karma. For every action there's a reaction. You work hard, you play hard. You don't do anything, you get no results.
the-
You sit and play games. Maybe some people find it as a career. You sit in front of your TV. I was a couch potato. When I ran comrades, I changed my whole attitude. you know
mm,
it's and running 80 kilometers, you have to put the mileage. You don't put the mileage, you're not going to make it. I mean, the last comrades we had over about 300 people from India running the comrades marathon
wow,
from India.
wow, yes,
Yeah, you put
uh,
in the work, you get the results.
yeah.
And the other thing is that the grass is not always greener on the other side. If you have a good job, if you have a comfortable space, if you're happy, stick to it. Yes, you want to find, go into larger corporates and things like that. For me, working for large corporates, you're just a number.
Mm, yeah.
But if it works for you, it's good.
Yeah, everyone has their different priorities, but yes,
Right? It's
in this life, you should experience each and everything.
whatever you, yeah.
because you never know when the time is bad. The large corporates, will not take a single moment
Hmm.
to from a employee to open to work, right? That's what we have.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
so respect everything, respect the whole ecosystem, because nothing is small, right? So, and that's the only way you always grow, and that's a very powerful message. Thanks, Rohit, for giving it,
Hmm.
reminding it to number of professionals who
Yeah.
are listening to us. Uh,
Just
I,
what, just
yeah.
one, just one more thing I want to mention. With regards to, in the Bhagavad Gita, it explains how big the soul is. If you take the tip of your hair and cut it 10,000 times, and take the one piece and cut it another 10,000 times, that is how small your soul is. So we may look as a big body or a good strong person. You only limited. As I said, it's only for a short while. You could be a 1 year, 1 day, 1 second, 10 years, 100 years, but it's a short lived. So enjoy your life and, be spiritual. Without spirituality, you're going nowhere. With having all the money, someone else will come and take your money, take over your house, take over your business. So be spiritual.
Very important. So you are just a tiny particle in the whole universe, and uh,
Yeah.
and this message is very important. So be respectful, be graceful, and
Yeah.
be not taking become a giver, not a taker only. I have a
Yes.
last
Yes.
question. I
Mm-hmm.
uh, the first here is you are doing a lot of work for the African communities also. So what
Yes.
just tell us what initiative you have taken, and again, when you're saying, I'm pretty much sure the spirituality part will definitely be the baseline for that.
Mm-hmm. So 100%. So with being part of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, I've been in the society for over 30 years. And I have taken initiation, the first initiation, second initiation, and I'm also a Brahmin. Shouldn't be
Mm.
boasting, but I've I do the taking care of the deities. I get involved in all our functions that we have there, and I enjoy it. And serving in the in at the temple, giving my time, giving my effort, cooking, offering to the deities, doing the puja, the arti to the deities. I enjoy everything. When I have a hard day and I go and do that, everything goes away. It's like a new slate. And mentioning about the community work, so we feed the community in and around our areas, and when we do our feeding schemes called Food for Life, the main uh, guru of the ISKCON is His Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. I didn't mention a lot about him, but he is the founder of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Sorry that I'm going to into other directions, but I need to explain this. From
That's important.
India, from India, he went into he took a ship. He had no support. He only had a bag of books and he had $1. And when he got in the ship, he sold some books. He made some money. And when he went to America, New York, the ship people there was a devotee lady who gave him the ticket, and that's the only thing he had. When he had a business in India, he was a pharmacist. He had a family. He basically then got into spirituality. He was a devotee. He took it seriously. He left India. He went to America, had no place to stay, just like all our experiences.
Mhm.
He's
Right.
you know he in Thompson Park, he was doing kirtan, chanting, and then people started coming there, and he gave the understanding of love of God. And people were the hippies. He used to preach to the hippies, and the hippies used to come there and enjoy. He used to make some sweets and give them halwa or whatever he could, and they used to enjoy it. And that is how he grew ISKCON. And
Mm.
today, ISKCON is all over in Russia. I want you to go and Google ISKCON in Russia. Look at how many devotees there. In
Mm.
Africa, he came to South Africa. This year, it's 50 years that Srila Prabhupada is in that he came to South Africa. 50
Wow.
years, and we celebrated that. He went throughout the world. I think he went around the world several times.
Mm.
He went to Africa, all over Africa. Do you know in Nigeria there's ISKCON temples? Do
Oh,
you know
no.
in Ghana? Do you know in Ghana there's ISKCON temples? Do you know in China there's ISKCON temples? There
No.
is thousands of temples throughout the world because of Srila Prabhupada. He spread the love of God, and his preaching is that just surrender to the Creator, and He will take care of everything. Coming back to the and this is how, to answer your question, this is how we get the opportunity to help the people and do the feeding schemes. He created Food for Life, where he says that within your community, if anybody is hungry, you should feed them. And in the Phoenix International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and in Chatswood as well, we cook biryani, and we feed the schools, we feed the community, we feed the hospitals, and I enjoy it. We cook 108 pots one go, and then everybody gets involved, whether you part of the ISKCON International or not. They come with their buckets, their dishes, they take it and they go and distribute everywhere. And it's
Mm.
so good to basically, see that people having a hot meal. Majority of the time, people are starving,
Yeah.
and that is the one thing. And my big or endeavor is to open up a farming community in South Africa. And I have the vision. I have I have the idea of where I want to put it. I want to open up something in South Africa that replicates Vrindavan and Govardhan Hill. If I get the funding, if I get the support, if I get the land, I want to do that. I want to replicate Vrindavan in South Africa. I want to replicate Govardhan Hill in South Africa. I want people to come together, chant, be happy, and spread the love of God, because loving God is the only goal or only reason we are in where we are. We can show Him love, if we can show Him our appreciation, He will take care of us.
Wow, it's a very not an easy task, but I'm pretty much
Yeah.
sure you are going to succeed. And whatever can be done from a value seller community, we will definitely, be part of that, religious motive. And yeah, we are also serving. And
Mm-hmm.
definitely, I'm pretty much sure there are so many investors in our community as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I will personally speak with someone if they can be of any help to your noble cause.
Yeah. It's not for me. It's one of the goals that we can help people, and we can build a community, we can build spirituality, we can build kindness, we can feed hungry people, we can basically do recycling, teach
Hmm.
people how to create their self-employment, teach them how to take bamboos, recycle them.
Hmm.
There's so much of it, like in India, most of the things are recycled, and I want to do that here.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where you are not saving the humanity, you are saving the whole nature, and the God is
Mm-hmm.
in the nature, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
So,
And the place that I got is like a nature place. There's trees and stuff like that, and you basically open that community. You have a market day. People come over. You can, you know, interact. So that's the vision I have.
it's a very important message. I never thought about it that there's a full universe inside you is talking a different language other than the professional part, and that's the reason I told
Mm-hmm.
you. Every story is similar. Everyone is facing the
Mm-hmm.
same challenge. I can pick any
Yes.
professional, they are also talking the same part that, they have been
Yes,
laid
yes,
off, they
yes.
are working in some threat. But how to take
Mm-hmm,
this direction from that level to this level and
mm-hmm.
not serving yourself, but the whole community. But now you are not
Correct.
talking only the community, you're talking about the whole continent, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Which needs the more development. Ah,
Correct, 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 correct.
but this Rohit, believe me, it's a very insightful discussion. I'm happy we are not talking about the traditional technologies and others. We are talking about the way which is goes beyond technology, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
your thoughts, your determination, your path has become a motivational for me personally, and I'm pretty much sure
Mm-hmm.
it inspired 50,000 people who are connected with us. Before we leave,
Thank you. Yeah.
you want to share with us?
Yeah, the one thing about technology is great. Technology is the ultimate, future of the entire world. It's going to enable us to be better. It's going to be able us to be more efficient, and hopefully one day we can sit in our lounge chair in a in a beach, as exotic beach, and make all the AIs do it for us.
Hmm.
But there's a but there. On the material side, yes, it'll grow. Yes, it will flourish. But remember, everything is a cycle. The world, and the other day I was listening to a lecture from one of our Mirages. His name is His Grace Priyad Miraj. And, he's giving a class of how to chant properly, our Hare Krishna mantra. And then he said, no phones, please switch it off. Then there was a phone that rang. He says, in years to come, there'll be a nuclear bomb. There'll be, you know, cycle, something will happen, World War III, and everything will come back to ground level. And then you have to go and start planting your potatoes and your cabbages and things like that. Because everything revolves in a cycle. It starts and it ends. And you can go in the future. You look at movies, you think the movies are just giving you, oh, okay. You see how destructive everything becomes, all the buildings are perished, there's no greens. We don't take care of our planet, we are going to be in big trouble. And that is why he says that if when the cycle ends, and Krishna just says in the Bhagavad Gita, he will come and eliminate every wrongdoers, or people who didn't take this seriously. No, I'm not threatening anybody. And those
Hmm.
who are devotees, he will take them back. And if you read the Bhagavad Gita, there's different avatars he comes in. Came in as Ram, came in as Krishna, came in as a boy, came in as the last 500 years of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Hmm.
And, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the Hare Krishna mantra, and we were basically using that now, understanding why we're chanting, why we need to be spiritual. If we don't take care of where we are, where we're living, this planet can, everybody looks at the good part. You got to do balance. You got to look at the good and bad. If you don't take care of our oceans, our land,
Forest.
if you want to only profit and take all the sewage and the chemicals and put it in the rivers, put it in your, in a dump somewhere, we're going to be in big trouble. The the environment, as you can see, it is getting worse day by day.
Hmm. Right. I agree. So that's where your humanity comes into. That's where you
Yes,
have to make a connection just to take a
yes,
break. This break
yes,
is
yes,
needed.
yes, yes.
No,
That's
I
correct.
I totally understand each and every word what you have mentioned. It resonates with me, and I'm pretty
Hmm.
much sure there are so many like us who are want to to talk to want to take this part, but they are actually clueless. So anyone who wants to take your guidance, what is the best way to get connect with you?
You mean to contact me?
Yeah, to contact you.
Okay. So yeah. So if you wanna contact me, my email address is Roith, Roith, at linkafrica.co.za. And yeah, you can email me and I'll reply. And building a relationship, having the community, giving advice or taking advice, making yourself a better person. I think those are the things we need to do.
And you're active on LinkedIn also.
Yes, I am on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah. So I will tag you when we broadcast this session, and
Hmm.
definitely there you will get a lot of requests. So kindly
Yeah,
accept
yeah,
it as your
yeah,
time
yeah.
permits. Right.
I would really appreciate that. And, again, I want to take the opportunity of saying thank you, Radhe Radhe, and making this possible. It's my first, you know,
It doesn't
chat
look like it,
discussion.
it doesn't look like it.
Mm.
Yeah, you are a born speaker.
Oh, wow.
Right, but it's a
Mm.
pleasure for us for hosting you, and I learned a lot as I mentioned, and I'm pretty much sure you showed the path which the people like me has completely forgotten, right? So it's not about but yes, these step by step is actually going to build a right society, and I wish best of luck for your noble cause, and definitely we will contribute from our side as as in our best capacity. So thank you so much, Rohit, for your precious time. And yeah, we will be definitely, you will get a lot of audience response. So
Yeah.
so for our audience, until next time, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I look forward in communicating with with
Then,
the listeners. And thank you again.
sure.
Bye.
Thank you so much.